Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Great white sightings are on the rise, nearly doubling in just 2 years.
Experts predicting at least 100 of them off the Cape waters.
They're hunting an exploding seal population, just off one of the most popular beaches in the Northeast.
Oh, that's a big shark!
Is Cape Cod becoming a danger zone?
The great white shark was spotted about 100 yards offshore.
Now, a team of scientists hits the water to understand what's going on and what the future holds.
That's a monster! It's a giant shark!
More and more great whites so close to shore could spell big trouble. It's early summer on Cape Cod. Thousands of vacationers come here to enjoy the beaches. It's also when another less welcome visitor shows up. The great white shark. One of the most awe-inspiring animals on the planet. They can grow up to 20 feet long and weigh nearly 2 tons. This shark is a legendary predator. Dangerous, aggressive, sometimes ferocious, always to be avoided.
Today we're going to go out and put a clamp on a shark.
Greg Skomel of the Massachusetts Division of Marine Fisheries and his team are here to tag and track the movements of these sharks along the Cape.
You get close to them, they spook.
Yeah.
So basically, first shot's your best one.
Stalk for a little while and strike, just like they do.
Greg has spent his career tracking white sharks in the North Atlantic.
Yeah, nice one! We're right in the middle of a 5-year study we're doing on the population size of white sharks off Cape Cod.
And he's noticed an alarming trend.
That's a nice shark. Make that 2.
Their numbers have steadily increased every year for the last 5 years.
Sightings off the coast of Massachusetts are seemingly more common than ever.
4 feet of it came up out of the water.
Experts predicting at least 100 of them by summer's end.
Good size one. I'd say at least 12 feet.
In 2014, Greg identified 68 great whites off the Cape. A year later, he ID'd 141.
We are right off a really popular beach. And these animals are coming by here all the time. Damn, that's a beautiful fish. That's 3 people on the beach right there. I mean, we're within 100 yards of the beach.
The reason for the surge in great white numbers is pretty clear.
It's the resurgence of the seal populations that we see lining these beaches that has drawn these white sharks close to shore.
In the last 10 years, Cape Cod has become home to a burgeoning seal colony, more than 20,000 strong and growing. From Provincetown in the north to Monomoy Island, there are so many seals hauled out on the beaches here, they can be seen from space.
So we've got a very different dynamic now. With the return of the seals, we've got the return of the sharks, and we've got people. And that really complicates things.
It's the perfect storm. More seals have led to more sharks. If the shark population continues to rise, how many will be here in 10 years? Will the waters off Cape Cod's beaches become some of the most dangerous in the world?
Whether it's, 50 or 500 or 5,000. I can't answer that just yet.
To find out, Greg's counting on some new technology to get the job done.
Set cameras on, satellite tags on.
Shark researcher Taylor Chappell has tagged a lot of sharks, but never in Cape Cod with this kind of tag. It's designed to record speed, depth, and orientation. And with the built-in camera, it sees everything the shark sees.
Big push we're making right now is to try to get a sense of the numbers of white sharks that are coming here this year, next year, the year after that.
And based on what Greg's seen so far, he's expecting record-breaking numbers.
He's right here. The shark's right there. I think he's right. I don't know where he is. But you can't see anything in this water. It's pea soup.
Step 1 of the census. Search the coastline for great whites. But the algae and plankton make it hard to see much of anything. The sharks are here, but they're hiding.
And we got one more variable that's become real fun for us, and that's the simple fact we can't see these fish in this water. This water's now pea soup. We're trying to pick a potato out of a bowl of soup that you can't see into. It's horrible.
See him at all?
No idea where he is.
Lost him in the murk.
So, Greg's relying on a little help from above.
Chatham Paddock, Chopper is taking the exit 24 Chatham, south.
Flying a few hundred feet overhead, spotter pilot Wayne Davis can see the shark's silhouette and radio the coordinates to boat captain John King.
11 o'clock now.
Wayne, what are you seeing, buddy? Anything?
There's a few seals in the shallow water there. There could be a shark anywhere on the edge here.
A lot of these sharks are piled up right on the beach. Of course, that's where the seals are.
There's one right there.
Just a few yards off the beach, a 15-foot great white on the prowl.
Oh, I see him. He's dead ahead. He's right on that crest. There he is, dead ahead of us, and he's up high. He's up high. He's going left to right. He's going left to right. We got a shark really tight to the beach. And it's really tuned into some seals here. It's in feeding mode. These seals are right in the surf. And we might have a predation event happen.
Before a wave goes by, we're gonna make a run at it.
It's coming right at us.
Oh, he's spinning.
Oh, look at that. He's spinning.
Oh, there it is. Get around to him.
Man, this is real dicey. It's such a hard area to get to. Just riding the wave. We got a beautiful shark here that's right at the surface, but we're in a really treacherous area. I mean, this is where people surf. Well, we're in 5 feet of water here. Hold on, we got a wave. Oh. Who's locked in those swells?
Hang on. Hang on.
You don't.
Hang on. You okay? Yep. Sorry about that dunking.
Slide.
Oh, okay, here we go.
All right, John. Oh, coming to you. Oh! Under the boat.
The shark turns on a dime. They're outmaneuvered.
Hang on. It's
You may have to go sideways, John. We're going for it. Gotta go for it.
Yep.
We're gonna go for it here. Looking real good. What was that? That was everybody on one side of the boat. That was about as close as I've ever come to flipping.
Capsizing in the surf would be a disaster and put a quick end to the study.
We've got no shortage of sharks. None. Plenty of sharks around. We got real close, but this is the most challenging kind of tagging that I've ever done. You know? The most challenging I've ever seen. It's gonna take a few more tries.
But neither the seals nor the sharks are going anywhere. This predator-prey relationship has been playing out for over 12 million years.
In the Pacific Ocean, they've been studying white sharks and this predator-prey relationship literally for decades. And what they've learned is how these animals attack and kill seals.
In places like Mexico's Guadalupe Island, the Farallon Islands off the coast of San Francisco, and Seal Island, South Africa. Great white sharks hunt their prey with an ancient expertise, and their success rates are about 80%. Around the world, great whites stalk from deep water around the edges of rocky islands. Using stealth and surprise, they ambush their targets as they swim to and from the islands. Accelerating to 25 miles per hour, they can hit a seal swimming at the surface in a flash. But Cape Cod is a very different battleground. Shaped by a glacial retreat 14,000 years ago, the Cape is a shallow fusion of salt marshes, protected coves, and low barrier islands. Perfect seal habitat. But not great for great white hunting. Instead of rocky islands surrounded by deep, clear water, here it's a network of beaches and sandbars, with shallow, murky seas.
The question that pops in my head is, how do these white sharks adapt to such a very different environment?
The great whites can't resort to their tried and true hunting techniques. They have to develop a different approach.
How are white sharks attacking, ambushing, and killing seals in water that may be less than 10 feet deep?
This rare footage shows a massive great white just missing a gray seal in less than 10 feet of water. It's so different and difficult to hunt here that sharks sometimes make mistakes.
I think it got into some really shallow water, was darting around trying to feed, and got itself up onto a sandbar and was struggling. It's a really good example of a young shark showing up in an area and for the first time trying to attack and kill a seal and not knowing how to do it.
It's the kind of thing that has Scommel and his team on edge. Hungry great whites, more and more arriving every day, hunting ever closer to shore, and making very bad mistakes. As tourists begin to arrive on Cape Cod, they're forced to share the sand with an expanding population of seals. The problem is, with seals, it's a package deal.
Over the last 3 decades, we've seen dramatic growth in the seal population. And as a result, we've got lots of white sharks around.
Each year, the number of whites has gone up significantly. Greg Scommel's mission is to tag and count just how many.
We're going for it. Gotta go for it.
Easier said than done. And this new camera tag will give him a shark's eye view, and maybe some insight.
We're gonna get a snapshot into the life of that animal. We're gonna live with that animal.
And if they're lucky, they might just capture a kill on camera.
No one's seen how white sharks attack and kill these seals. And imagine getting it from the perspective of the shark itself.
Right in the north end of the alley, almost into the cove here, right in shoal water. She's right in a good spot here, like a fair size one.
They spot a shark right at the surface. A big one.
Looks bigger every time I look at it.
There he is.
There, you'll be on the outside side of him.
Oh my God, that's gorgeous. Look at that.
The animal moves slowly through the water. It doesn't seem to notice the boat.
It's coming back up high and dry. Boy, that fish is up. That's a beautiful fish. That's it. That's gotta be it. Oh, it came off! Damn! Hey, keep an eye on him, Wayne. Oh, I thought we had it. Oh, that was close, bro. It was on. That was real close. It was on. Oh.
In these murky waters, it's just as difficult for the team to hunt sharks as it is for the sharks to hunt seals. So, what makes hunting seals here worth the effort?
When we look at the biology of the great white shark, these seals represent to them a big meal.
A white shark's big, active body consumes a lot of energy, so they're in constant need of fuel. They need to eat the equivalent of 1 seal pup every 3 days just to survive. What they want is a big adult seal. Just one will keep them going for days.
These are big meals, and for a large animal like a white shark, it wants to kill and eat big meals. So, you know, for me to study the predator, it's great, but we need to know more about the prey. So the tide's dropping, and a few seals are starting to haul out on these bars.
Which is not unexpected because it's sort of the time of year when they're molting.
Marine biologist Stephanie Wood has documented the return of the seals to Cape Cod.
50 or 60 years ago, it was really rare to see a gray seal on the Cape and Islands.
Historically, sharks hunted seals in these waters for thousands of years. Early natives certainly took their share. Then the seals were aggressively hunted by European settlers.
They were locally extinct, and the entire Northwest Atlantic population was much smaller than it is today.
Even through the 20th century, hunters had an open season.
They would turn in a pelt or a nose, and they'd be paid anywhere between $1 and $5. The bounty systems were put in place because the seals were seen as competition for the local fish resources.
The Marine Mammal Protection Act, passed in 1972, changed all of that. Hunting seals was outlawed, and in just a few decades, they've made a dramatic comeback.
Our highest count of seals in the Cape and Islands was a little over 20,000 seals.
So it's gone from local extinction to population explosion.
The history of the sharks is not all that different from the seals.
Okay.
If you look at levels of exploitation, dramatic declines in the population. But with the seals coming back, we're starting to see the response of the white shark population.
It's clear sharks have returned to the Cape because of the seals. But how did the sharks know they were here? Is this an ancient hunting ground, ingrained in their DNA? Or is there a better explanation?
I'm always thinking about what's going on, from a sensory point of view, and also what's going on. Are these animals hardwired to some degree? But then how do they find them locally? Let's face it, sharks have really highly sophisticated noses, and these seals put out waste, and this area being so dynamic in terms of tides and currents, they're picking up scent trails from these seals, and that's what draws them into these areas.
Seals are voracious. They eat a lot of fish. 20,000 seals in this one area, defecating directly into the sea, makes a big, smelly mess. Tides and currents carry the waste plume out to sea and into the great white's migration route.
I'm just thinking of these sharks wandering around the Atlantic Ocean, then suddenly, picking up on these scent trails.
It's like a giant highway sign for fast food, and the sharks just can't resist getting off at the Cape Cod exit.
And then once they figure it out, they come here, they feed on seals successfully, they then come back with remarkable timing every year.
So the Marine Mammal Protection Act made it possible for the seal population to come roaring back. Then, the white sharks got their own protection in the 1990s. That set the stage for an epic confrontation between species.
I never anticipated tagging, 80 white sharks off the coast of Cape Cod. I never anticipated that. And I don't know whether the Marine Mammal Protection Act anticipated it either.
Back in the hunt, the team spots a shark just outside the surf break.
Joe, keep an eye out. See if you can see him.
We got the fact that the sharks that we're trying to study are going to leave. So it's do or die time.
I think I see him. I see him. He's deep.
We got a white shark dead ahead of us.
Right here?
Not that far, maybe about 25 feet away. Right there.
Come in hot, Taylor. All right, I'm ready, John. Whenever you want to pop up on it.
Nice work.
That's exactly what you needed.
That's perfect. Boom, boom, boom. Knocked it on.
Success. It's the first camera tag ever placed on a Cape Cod great white.
Guys are badass.
Game on! Now the project begins.
By early summer, the waters off Cape Cod are churning with activity. Scores of great white sharks have arrived and are hunting seals. Greg Skomel has launched a large-scale shark census, and he's just attached his first camera tag of the season. The team hopes it's going to help identify and count just how many sharks are swimming here.
We look at the distribution of the great white shark around the world. There's these areas that draw white sharks to them. What they have in common are high densities of seals and sea lions. We call them hot spots or aggregation sites.
These aggregation sites are located strategically along migration routes.
These are wide-ranging, highly migratory animals that are moving all over the place, and anytime they can find a predictable food resource, they want to go to it. These sharks aren't stupid. They figure it out. Animals migrate to specific areas for specific things.
In the Pacific, white sharks generally maintain a coastal migration pattern, swimming thousands of miles in a single season.
They know that the seals occur off the Farallon Islands certain times of the year. They know they occur off Guadalupe Island. They know they occur off Seal Island. They're moving from seal colony to seal colony, taking advantage of those resources and feeding.
Data collected from Greg's earlier tagging operation in the Atlantic reveals a similar pattern.
We've got those that hug the coastline and basically move from Cape Cod down to Florida. You know, temperature plays a major role. The extent to what role that plays, we don't know. People say to me, why don't we know all this already about white sharks? It's a charismatic, high-profile species. Well, we really haven't had any opportunities to study white sharks before in all of the Atlantic Ocean. But here we are in Cape Cod, which is probably the only now existing aggregation site in all of the Atlantic Ocean.
Greg is keenly aware of what's at stake. About 3 million people flock to the beaches of Cape Cod every summer.
These aggregation sites in other parts of the world are fairly remote areas. There's not a lot of human beings. But here in Cape Cod, a very, very different scenario.
And with this many sharks, odds are good for a case of mistaken identity.
We're calling the harbor master. We got a shark on the beach near some surfers just off the Nauset Lighthouse. Yeah, that's a call in. Safety first.
Shark encounters are becoming an all too regular and alarming occurrence.
I look over to talk to her, and it came completely out of the water at the bottom of the pool, flipped her over.
Leaving behind a string of beach closings, red flag warnings, and narrow escapes.
Lifeguards pulled hundreds of bathers out of the water, and the beach was immediately closed.
I turned and looked, and I saw the fin, and then I looked down and figured that was my time. So, I just started battling to get in and get back to my kids.
Great whites are taking all the heat. But they wouldn't be here if it weren't for the seals. And some believe the seals are changing these waters in more ways than simply attracting sharks.
This dramatic increase in the population of predatory seals has changed the pattern of our fishery. We've got tens of thousands of gray seals, but now, because of the protections offered them and the rapid increase of their populations, they predominate the whole fishery. It's only a matter of time until a swimmer gets bitten and maybe killed.
Things are shifting. More seals, more sharks, less fish. A perfect storm of change on Cape Cod. Even more reason for Greg to get a handle on the shark population.
Putting some of these tags to get a sense of their residency in the area. Are they staying here all summer? Are they just pulling off I-95 and grabbing a burger? Getting back on and going parts north or parts south? Going right.
All right, pretty deep, Taylor, but we'll try.
20896. This is a tag shark.
Oh, he's huge, John. Dude, he's so big, John. Look at him. Which one is this?
Marianne.
It's a 15-foot female.
That's a monster! Look how big that is. It's a giant shark.
Try the other side? Sure. Ready, Taylor? Yep. Give me left.
Too damn good! Such a big shark. As they say in Boston, it's a monster.
Tag number 2 is set to come off in 10 days. And any video it captures should tell Greg something about the sheer number of great whites hunting off the beaches. Cape Cod is an ecosystem on the bleeding edge of change. The seal population has exploded, catching everyone's attention, including a lot of white sharks. Now, scientists are trying to count the number of sharks off the Cape and learn how they navigate the shallows to hunt their prey.
We got ideal conditions today. Flat, calm, light, northerly winds. With the skill set my spotter pilot has, we're gonna find sharks.
But it's not a shark that first catches the eye of the spotter pilot.
I see a seal up there at 11 o'clock.
Dead seal on the beach right there.
Yeah.
Its midsection is torn open, jagged with telltale lacerations from rows of teeth.
That's a big animal, too.
Yeah,
Wow.
I took a big hit.
Got away, but didn't make it.
It's going down the beach now, parallel with the beach, dead ahead.
Got a big shark that, it's a monster. It's sitting right here in the shallow water.
Okay, he's ahead there now. You come a little bit left.
Got it.
He's got a tag on him.
Got the tag on.
The camera tag they put on yesterday is still there, still filming.
Oh, yeah. From yesterday.
It's the shark named Marianne. As the boat approaches, Taylor notices something else.
That tag's high.
The tag has shifted since yesterday.
Like, that's not the best position. It's too high. If she really takes off, then it might slip off.
Marianne seems suspiciously close to that dead seal. If she was the culprit, the evidence is very close to falling off.
Let's see if she comes up.
Taylor wants to try to reposition and secure the tag.
Gun gone deep. Not deep. No, not deep.
They need to entice the shark up to the surface.
You want to see if it'll go for a decoy?
They usually don't react to decoys, but let's see if she comes up.
Who knows?
We'll see.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I think if we can come up. So, John, maybe what we can do is bring her alongside, parallel her, and speed up a little bit, and I'll just slowly drop back. Got it.
Come on.
Yeah, hold that right there.
Keep it slow there.
Half a bowl length.
Going ahead on one engine.
Spin it around to the left. That's good. He goes back in, then we're just following until she runs out of water. It's coming up. Coming up.
Oh, it's right behind us.
Look it. Film.
There it is. It's working.
Oh, it's checking her out.
Good speed.
Check it out.
Right here on the right side. 1 o'clock. What are we doing?
Her fin is up high. They have one shot to adjust the tag.
Hey, John, I'm gonna try to push this cam down a touch.
Okay, I'll put you there.
And Taylor will have to do it by hand.
Oh, cut right.
Oh, you bugger. She's under you.
I'm out of gear.
Come on, baby. Good.
Hang on.
Gotta go for it, man. You gotta go for it. Does it feel tight?
It's pretty good. The front peg is just on the front. That's high, but
It's okay, buddy.
we'll see how long it stays. The problem is if it does any dynamic movements, it might come off. But I just was a little bit short of reaching it and pushing it down.
Taylor got a good look. The tag is high on the dorsal fin, but not that loose.
Pull the seals right up ahead of you the way he's going.
Yeah, I see him. 3 boats dead ahead.
The team turns their attention toward another shark.
Shark is moving. I'd say this shark's definitely in hunting mode. Look at it. I got him.
But just as they zero in,
John, I just saw a shark here. He kicked the tag.
The shark with the tag up the fin was up the surface thrashing around, and it looks like it kicked its tag off.
Right there.
You got the net?
Yep.
All right.
What do you think he was going for?
I don't know. All of a sudden, boom! Came right out of the water and came back up again, fin and tails, shook it.
Well, I'm glad you were here.
Yeah.
they're lucky to get the tag back. It's the best chance the team has of getting a shark's eye view of an attack.
Oh, that's a nice big shark.
Shark expert Greg Scommel is counting great white sharks off Cape Cod.
We're getting out here, we're identifying every one of these individuals, we're videotaping them, and then we're trying to get tags into them as well. And these tags are great because they'll give us a great sense of the local movements of these animals around Cape Cod. You got the net?
They just got one tag back. And the second is about ready to pop off another shark.
This is the point where it starts to get a little bit nerve-wracking because there are a few things that could go wrong. The tag itself could fail.
They don't know exactly when the tag will send a signal. But once it does, they have to find it quickly.
Hey, Taylor, you look over there.
That's not a good line of clouds. I think we probably got 20 minutes, 30 tops before it's on us.
Okay, I'm gonna go up top real quick, just to have a listen to see if thing's up.
The tag has to be within a half a mile to pick up a signal.
So if we swing out to the northeast a little bit more on the way back up, I might get a better signal.
Okay. 194. 171.
Let's hold station here for a sec, John.
Tracking the tag takes them 9 miles south of Chatham Harbor, just off of Monomoy Point.
So they got the pinger very light. It's up in here somewhere. So let's just start making some zigzags. And hopefully the light will illuminate it or shine off it if we get close to it.
All right. I think I see it.
Where we at?
Yeah.
Keep you bearing?
About 20 yards ahead, dead ahead.
Ah, right on. There it is.
Now.
Sweet. All right, can you bring me up on the port side?
Port side, yeah. The sun is hitting it great, but man, they're making a needle in a haystack.
Nice, good eye, John.
Come to Papa.
Oh, he's scared so the shark's gonna come up and eat it right now.
Yeah.
There it is.
Good job, all right.
Tag in hand.
Wow.
Back on shore, Greg is eager to check out what they've captured. The first video is from a 14-foot male.
Wow, the visibility in this area is as bad as we think it is. I mean, look how poor the visibility is as you get into the water. So it's in shallow water, it's moving along, and all I can imagine is it's in a hunting pattern. There's plenty of seals in the area. Here you see a scar. These scarring patterns we see around the head could be associated with other sharks, or it could also be associated with the seal striking back.
Tag number 2 shows the POV from the shark named Marianne, swimming steady and slow.
Marianne, is staying in shallow water, but she's really right at the surface here. And as you can see, here's one of our pole cams we're putting down. We're documenting Marianne, what she looks like for color markings that would help us identify her in the future. And remarkably, all the white sharks that we've seen over the last few years, not a lot of them actually spend time right at the surface. So Marianne is kind of unique in that way.
There it is. It's working.
Look at that. That's incredible. So there's the fin camera, picking up our vessel, and you can see her moving toward the decoy.
But how these sharks navigate the murky shallows is still a mystery.
Who knows what it's smelling, what it's hearing? That's what intrigues me. What senses are these sharks using to find these seals in this very unique environment? It is a glimpse into how these animals live, and I'll take every little glimpse I can get. What's really quite fascinating also is they're coming back year after year after year. Maybe stay for a week or two, maybe stay the whole summer. And we see that some of our animals are transient, some of them are resident, but we're really getting a nice sense that Cape Cod represents a really important place for them to come.
Greg began the census in 2014 and identified 68 great whites. The following year, the number jumped to 141, and over 100 of those were new to Cape Cod. That's nearly twice as many sharks in just 1 year. Based on those findings, how many more will arrive this year? And what will this place be like in 10 years?
As long as these seals are growing in population size and they're here, more and more of these sharks are going to come each year. And at what point, though, will it hit its limit? I don't know.
It's not just Cape Cod. The entire Gulf of Maine is on a course of change. Every year, more white sharks are drawn here by the ever-increasing population of seals. This place could return to the shark versus seal battleground it was hundreds of years ago.
Holy, that's a big shark!
How will that work for everything and everyone living here? It's the ultimate question. One that keeps Greg Skomal very busy.
We're starting to crack the door on the actual behavior of these animals.
It will take more tagging studies like this one to fully understand the mystery of the Atlantic great whites and the long-term effects the return of the sharks and seals will have on Cape Cod.
I think it's only going to be a decade when I'll look back and say, oh my gosh, we knew so little about the animals, but look what we've discovered.